A declaration of independence from human suffering and vicious cycles. It is no secret that the world today is like nothing human history has ever witnessed. In fact, to our ancient ancestors more than 10,000 years ago, we would look like a completely different species than kin. The world is now connected with itself in a way that no human could have ever possibly prophesied. The internet and the World Wide Web has given the power of direct communication in an instantaneous manner. The power to place information for any to view it is a powerful tool indeed. We can all imagine what Martin Luther believed he was doing when he nailed his 95 theses to a Catholic church door. He was posting information that he reasoned was common sense and well understood. It just hadn't been sanctioned by the media or the popular culture at the time. The same can be stated about our time, now in the year 2012, a time where scientists are best known for giving men erections and more hair on top of their head from other body parts. A time where making money over every other value is prized and encouraged, where compassion for others around the world is only viewed through TV commercials asking for your money. 2012 is a time where those who live with modern utilities would never imagine going without them for a single day. The pattern that our mother culture has created is a pattern that is completely unsustainable. The downfall of every empire can be historically traced to the point where the population outstripped its resources. Our resources come from places that we dare not visit, where we dare not mention to our children, where we hope that one day they don't demand the same basic utilities that we take for granted every day. The system that is perpetuating this vicious cycle is none other than capitalism. Capitalism is a system that encourages innovation, engineering, and critical thinking. However, that doesn't mean it's a system that can't be manipulated to take total advantage of those who cannot speak for themselves. Fortunately, the World Wide Web has granted access to those without a voice to have a voice that can be as powerful and loud as any other voice our species can conjure. Capitalism is a system that demands a large working population that controls a significantly meaningless portion of the capital. The system of capitalism is one that demands a class of poor people who either do not have the skills or just do not have the access to power to demand more of the capital. Historically, the easiest way to control this sector of capitalism was to keep it illiterate and completely uneducated. However, the human innovations produced within capitalism have ironically made the strategy to keep the working class uneducated almost impossible. We have seen the American economic machine start as an agrarian giant, to an industrialized monster, to a technological engine powered by silicon and rare earth metals. We have also seen a massive shift in the types of workforces that were needed to keep this economic system alive. Slave labor was useful when most of the work in the economy demanded field hands. Children were used during the start of the Industrial Revolution to fit between massive machines where a grown man couldn't. We have seen the flight of black Americans in the South creating a great migration to northern and western cities across the country to get good paying jobs. We have seen machines take the places of people. Although this phenomenon isn't new, it has been witnessed in several different time periods and within several different industries. All the while, the changes of economic growing pains pinched at common Americans. The rhetoric stayed the same. Hard work will be rewarded. This mantra, whether it is officially a part of our nation or just a part of our culture, is something that all Americans can recognize. Maybe it isn't universally agreed to, but it is universally understood. Capitalism has a lot of potential to reward the motivated, the hardworking, the innovative, and the spontaneous, out-of-the-box thinkers. However, I would like to go over this concept of reward and hard work. I know many hard-working people. They surrounded us in our communities, our families, and our social lives. They are our mothers and fathers, our grandparents, our uncles, our loved ones, our children. They are people who value the concept of reward for hard work. Many of the rewards that are given can be translated into shelter, food, and clothing. The monetary gain we get for working hard at our jobs allows us to purchase such necessary and basic items. Yet it is these basic items that keep us at the jobs we are at. We earn our food, our shelter, and our clothing through the hard work that we put in for them. Yet many of us do not ever progress higher on the food chain. Here we encounter another necessity of capitalism. There is only room at the top for a very limited few. Many make millions and even billions, but capitalism isn't a system that allows all who participate in it to ever reach the top. We have already noted that there is a necessary workforce that must be present in order for the system to succeed properly, so that there is always more at the bottom than at the top. This is the only way the system can work. The system, in theory, rewards the hardworking and punishes the lazy. Yet we know that there is something inherently wrong with that statement. The teacher who works hard every school day is not rewarded equally with the work that is put into her day. We can imagine someone who owns a business and makes $20 a minute and someone who is employed and makes $20 an hour. Many times the employed actually do more work than the business person. We also know that when millionaires and billionaires practice faulty capitalism that takes advantage of hardworking people, it isn't the millionaires and billionaires that are punished. Many times the punishment is spread across the massive working force. The injustices that can possibly produce, have been produced, and are being produced by capitalism are not secrets. The issue here is the spreading of the punishment by the established stakeholders of the capitalist system over the workforce has been light enough to bear. However, with any pattern there is a graph associated with it. We can imagine what a graph would look like if we measured what has been poured over the working class and the amount of people it has directly affected. The more you pour on the working class, inevitably, the more people who will become affected. It is a vicious cycle indeed, but one that I believe doesn't have to exist. Throughout history, many people have cried the impossible. Submersible ships, human flight, space travel, moon exploration, microchips that are microscopic. Yet we all know those impossibilities to be completely false. Many say that world peace is impossible, that it is impossible to feed all of humanity. It is impossible to educate all of humanity. I believe that these are things that are not only possible, but things that should morally and ethically be done on the basis of our own standards of living. The world is becoming incredibly small at an incredible rate. We now have instant access to view the other side of the world whenever we want to. No longer can human suffering be hid from our eyes or our media. We have the technology, the resources, and the morality to stave human suffering. We have the capabilities to bring the technology to people in Bolivia, to have clean water, the skills to teach them how to perpetuate their clean water source for hundreds of generations to come. We have the resources, knowledge, and understanding of alternate energy that potentially can catapult human evolution into an age that I can't even begin to imagine. Why are we not doing these things? I believe it is because there is no money to be made by giving people the knowledge to take care of them, to give people the understanding of energy and how they can easily harness it for themselves. Giving away modern standards of living is completely not profitable. So what is wrong with the capitalist system? First, it should be apparent that It is a system strife with inequality and imbalance. Hard work is not always fairly rewarded, and it is taking an increasing amount of more hard work to get the same benefits and rewards. It also doesn't like individuals who don't want to be forced to mold into a system they don't agree with. An entire system that demands individuals to get a job whether they like it or not, so that they can simply acquire food, shelter, and clothing. Basic utilities that we would never dream of ever going without. It should also be noted that I am not including running water, hot water, electricity, or gas. Most of the world goes without these utilities on a daily basis. Our capitalistic lifestyle has become very ugly, amoral, and unethical to me. It is a system that a modern U.S. citizen should become familiar with, and then rationalize, if possible, the moral and ethical standards of our current system. What can be done for our future and the generations to come futures? Technology has been a part of humanity since we first walked on this planet. In fact, humans, as a species, are technologists. A simple sharpened stick is revolutionary to a world of creatures that have organic hides and spongy flesh. In fact, a sharpened stick is absolutely catastrophic to an entire planet of creatures that have organic flesh, organic hides, and spongy flesh. We have come a long way from the sharpened stick. We can, if we wanted to, completely and utterly destroy our planet hundreds of times over. The uranium bomb pales in comparison with the hydrogen or plutonium bomb. Yet we are still here. There must be something about human nature that understands the end of Earth would be the end of humanity as we know it. The longest lasting struggle that humanity has had for the past 10,000 years has been the struggle to dominate nature, to have mastered nature in such a way that it does what we command it to do. However, nothing in nature has that kind of control. Every ecosystem is balanced in a way that each organism depends on the other for its very survival, regardless if that organism is aware of the other's existence. The rainforest is one of our planet's most delicately balanced ecosystems and has a species we can't wait to burn it down. If humanity can come together and have a change of conscience about our place on this planet, I feel this would produce plenty of hope for Earth and all of its inhabitants. Humanity must first realize that we need to preserve a balance within our ecosystem across the globe. There is no reason why technology cannot help create balance. It must be noted that there is a great margin between control and complete balance. The second thing that I feel must be done is to reward those who engineer or strive for this balance. Those who have the knowledge to perpetuate technological balance on a massive scale should be the ones who are most rewarded by our culture. If money continues to be the only motivation for hard work and progress, then we have doomed our species to a horrible end. Humanity now has the ability to unite and come together to help create a world where everyone has food, shelter, and clothing. It isn't impossible. It isn't meaningless. And it isn't something that is trendy. It is something that beings like you and me that have an understanding of what it means to be human and the unique qualities that follow must do in order to preserve their dignity, their integrity, and their future.